there's a progression that you have to follow to be a carpenter. First of all, you have to know what the tools are, right? Hammer, saw, and so first of all you learn the tools. So we do the same thing in martial arts. What are our tools? We got some kicks, we got some punches, we got elbows, whatever it happens to be. We got a lot of tools. Not as many as you might think. And so then the next thing is you say, oh, I want to do this, but I got to be really, really good. I want to be able to be real good with the hammer. I can drive a spike in 3 hits. I can cut the piece of wood in two saws. So you're feeling pretty good about that. And so then you're feeling really good about yourself because you have some really good tools. So you got all your little toolbox like this, and you walk to somebody and you go, okay, just grab a seat, and then you go, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go to work here. And the guy says, okay, that's good. Build me a house up there on the hill, would you? And the guy goes, what? What's he missing? Huh? What's he missing? A plan or a strategy. So martial arts, if you want to learn a system, whether it be a system of martial arts or a system of music or a system of language, then you have 3 parts. You have the pieces. You have the development and performance of the pieces, and then you have a strategy of application. Same thing in fighting. So we have the tools. This is a punch, and pretty soon I want to give it effectiveness. So I have 6 elements of performance. It has to be fast. It has to be powerful. It has to be accurate. It has to be timed properly. I have to be in good enough shape I can throw it for as long as I need to. If I need to throw it for 3 days, I'm going to be able to throw it for 3 days. A lot of you guys are in that kind of shape. And the last one is attitude. I have to have the correct attitude. And attitude's a big concept, a big part of combat. So let's say I do all that. Now I got a punch, and it has speed, or actually attitude and conditioning, and it's ready to go. And now I stand in front of somebody. I'm going to try to hit him with my punch, but if I don't have a plan, then, you know, I might hit him, he might hit me, whatever it happens to be. So today we're going to, first of all, want to look at some of your mechanics, look at some of your basics. But we're going to go right to the mechanics, see what type of movements you have. And then when we talk about little strategies at the end. So for instance, a strategy would be something like, oh, I want to hit this guy, but every time I move towards him, he's counter-punching me. Or, hey, I want to hit this guy, but every time I throw a shot, he's blocking. He's a great blocker. Or every time I go at him, he moves. So he's a runner. So there's 3 types of guys you go at. There's 3 things a person can do when you go at him. Okay? So the other thing would be, if he's charging me, there's 3 things I can do. One of them is I can him, during the week, and they're practicing the moves that they really, really like. And they're saying, look how great this kick is. Look how great this punch is. I can do my jump spinning such. Well, there's some things they like to do. So if you can determine that, you can say, oh, this guy likes to do such and such. So wouldn't it be nice if you had the skill to have him throw the move that he likes to throw to the target you want him to throw it to when you wanted him to throw it? You have a pretty good advantage there, wouldn't you? See, so that's possible to do that, right? So if I hold my hands up like this, you're not going to try to hit me in the head. You're going to try to hit my body. Or if my hands are down like this, right? Maybe I'm a little bit closer. Maybe I rock a little bit like that. You're going to look at that head as a better target. So I have some influence on where you throw your moves. All right, so first thing we want to do is start talking about mechanics. We'll come back to that later. The human body is designed, I didn't design it, by the way, but it's designed that when your left foot goes forward, your right hand goes forward. And when your right foot goes forward, left hand goes forward. That's called diagonal bracing. So when you're punching, your weight shifts, doesn't it? If I throw this shot, my weight shifts to that. When I throw this shot, my weight shifts to that. All right? If you're throwing a jab, the jab comes straight off that back leg. Now some guys will jab like this off the front leg. It's a speed jab, it's not a power jab. Power jab comes off, you cinch her up, come over here for a second. So hold your jab out. All right, now just watch, just pick up your front foot. There's where your jab comes from. So when you're jabbing at somebody, it's here. Boom! You see that shot step in like that? You're down underneath the jab. You're going to go change where you are. You're not going to go in. The main way you get hit usually in fighting, you just take your head right down the line. That's the number one way you get hit. The number two way you get hit is you get inside the range and just stop, you get hit. Third way you get hit is you go out the same line you came in on. So what this means is you change your line coming in, you change your angle, and you change your angle immediately and go out on a different angle. If you can't do it all the time, but if you can. Thank you, sir. You did a very, very nice job. Thank you. So shifting your weight is a big thing. And so we're going to do that first. If you have problems shifting your weight, it's kind of simple. What you do is when you throw the right hand, just pick up this back foot and touch the ground with it. All right? If you're going to throw this hand, just pick up the front foot and touch the ground with it. So what that's making you do is making you shift your weight, isn't it? There's 3 levels of development to learn the proper dynamics of upper-lower body. The first one, in fact, maybe we'll do that right away, is bouncing. So you bounce, and then you shift your weight. Shift, 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 shift. The second is stepping. Step, 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 step. I might have you do some of that too. And then the third is pumping. When you're going to punch fast, you don't have time to step or bounce. So, you can do all 3 of those. So first thing we'll do is get up, and what I'll have you do is, if you can, I'll give you a few minutes. So all you want to do, just try this. Just see if you can do it. Get in a fighting position facing that wall. All right? So what you want to do is you want to just touch the ground with your back foot when you throw your right. Just throw a couple, watch me. Now you got to actually pick it off the ground. Watch it. Don't over twist and don't do much stuff. Just turn your body and kick the ground. There it is. Now, in between those punches, you got to shift your weight all the way back to this leg. Bam. That's how you throw a right hand or a left hand. Keep your head still. What are you doing? Start here now. Watch it. You got to pick that foot up and kick. Now, if you notice, all your weight's on that front foot, huh? All right, now watch. Let's say if we want to do a jab. So from here, just pick the front foot up. Don't lunge or anything, just in place. Pop. Now you got to pick it up as you hit, because you want your weight on the back foot when you hit. All right, so watch. Hold your arm out. Now push into me, so your front foot's off the ground. That's where your power for your jab comes from. All right, now see if you can do this. Watch. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, try that. All right, now watch. I've been watching some of you. Watch me. I'm going to throw 2 punches. I want you to tell me how many counts it takes me to throw 2 punches. Watch. How many counts did it take me to throw? 2. Pretty obvious, right? No, it took me 4 counts to throw 2 punches. So this is not the correct way to punch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, you got $10 to put in the bank, and you drop 5 on the ground on the way to the bank, and you put 5 in. So when I do this, look at the torque of my body. The minute I bring this back, see I lost some torque? So when you throw these combinations, it's called sticking your punch. Hold your hands like that. So when I fire, I'm sticking my punches, right? I don't bring this back till this hits. See what's happening? It stays here until that fires, and then this stays here until that fires. Now when I throw 2 punches, bam, boom, it takes basically 2 counts. All right, try that now. So don't bring the front hand back till your back hand. Boom, that's it. Throw straight punches for now. I know this may seem fun, it may seem weird to you because you guys have been punching for years, but all we're talking about is the mechanics of the punch. We're doing mechanics right now. Also now, here's another thing to think about. If you're in martial arts or you're a bowler or whatever you do, your body lives, here's where your body lives. 45 degrees and square. That's where we live. So if I'm fighting 45, now you're going to roll off and change the angle sometimes, but just in general, we're working mechanics, not strategies. Where you are is you're either 45 with your body, or you're square with your body, or you're 45 or you're square. Now sometimes you'll see guys punch. So you get my shoulders in line. you never get your back hand in time. So what happens is, help me out for a second. Stand over here. You have good health insurance?
Sure.
You do? Okay, good. So now what?
Blue Cross.
I'm not good. We're going to use this, and we call this a point of reference. So this is the point we're talking about. So now watch. I'm here. All right. I throw my punch. Stay there. No, stay right there. Throw my punch. It's a point of reference. Now I throw it. Leave it there. No, leave it there. Leave it there. No, you're moving it with. You're moving it. Don't move it. Don't lean on me. Hold it in space. You're a point. All right, there we go. Let's do it this way. All right, there's the point. All right. Now watch. So I fire. See where my shoulder is? Now watch when I fire this next shot. My shoulders are in line, but look how far past that point of reference it is. How many extra inches do I have to travel?
4 to 6.
How much is that?
4 to 6 inches.
Yeah, no, double that. Because I got to go 6 or 9 inches back, and I got to come 6 or 9 inches back to get to where it was. Thank you, you did a wonderful job. So what happens is, if you're trying to hit somebody fast, you hit with that first shot, this has to stay in here. If you go way back here, you may or may not get the second shot. It depends how good the fighter is you're fighting. But if I'm right here, boom, I can get right back on top of that right hand, can't I? You see, so what happens is, when you throw your combos, 45, square, 45, square. Shift your weight. I don't care if it's karate or if it's boxing. The difference between karate and boxing punches is where the hand's starting from. So what happens is this. All punches start from here. In boxing, we put our elbow where our hand was and bring this up closer because our range changed. In karate fighting, you're a little farther away, and when you start boxing or kickboxing, you're stepping up inside a little bit more. So you got to bring that up to protect your head a little bit better. All right? But basically, the hand is starting from the same place. The problem that some of the people have with punching is if they have their punch here, they drop the punch to the level of the elbow when they punch. What should be happening? The elbow should be coming up to the level of the fist. So when I punch, I turn that in. I don't see it. I wish I had a stick here somewhere. But basically, I guess, can anybody get a screamer stick? See what happened? No? No? All right, don't worry about it. So if you have a mass, you have something that has weight to it, let's say like a stick, and it's straight, and you accelerate that stick towards somebody, all you hear, but when I accelerate it, it's not in alignment. Some of the energy goes into the point of contact, but some of it dissipates to the side because the weight's not behind the point of contact. But if you throw that shot, and when all the weight hits, all the weight's in a perpendicular line to the point of contact, all the energy goes into him. It doesn't dissipate. So when you throw, there you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You redeemed yourself by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Had to do something.
So here, that's just no. Pull. This is yes. Pull. Makes sense, doesn't it? You don't throw a spear like that, it won't go in. If the weight of the mass is good. So now when I punch, I'll just put that over there for now. Now when I punch, I want to, if my hand's here, when I hit him, see what's going to happen? Sometimes I'll just say, it's like you're standing in water up to your wrist, and just come up and screw it across the top of the water. Follow me? Boom, there's your shot. Now also, some of you are twisting too soon. That means what you're doing is you're twisting your hand out during the punch. You need to turn your punch into the target. So what happens is, if you have your hands relaxed at your side like this, all right, and then you just bring it up without torquing this at all, just bring it up, look at sideways. So when you punch, you're really turning that punch a quarter turn on a straight hand. We've got hooks and we have uppercuts, but on a straight punch. All right? So the last thing is, this is all kind of detailed, and I don't know if it's you got to think about it to make it work, but if something rotates, it has to have a pivot point, doesn't it? So if this is turning, where's the pivot point? Is it out here? Is it the middle finger? Is it down here? Where do you think it would be? Huh?
I mean, the arm would.
Well, no, the arm, yeah, but where is the, it's a point, a line is going through here. A line's a very thin thing. Where is that, where is it? You said it's right in here. Yeah, I got, thank you, I did get one. Okay. No, it's just exactly like you turn a page in a book. Put your hand behind the page and turn it over. All right? Leave this where it is and just turn it over. So when you hit, that little snap, I've hit guys before with the glove on at this range and turned it and knocked them out. Not the big gloves, by the way, these little gloves. But I've never hit anybody that didn't really, really deserve it. In any event, so there's a lot of technical stuff going on here, isn't there? Isn't that true? So when this comes out, it's coming up, and you turn over the top of that punch. How about something simple like making a fist? Let's see some fists. See how you make a fist. Okay, let's see. You should know how to make a fist by now. When you make a fist, your thumb doesn't go past the first crack there. It has to be on your first finger. Now what you can do it with each other. Oh no, I don't want to do it with Kenny because he's got a can you help me? Sure. Stand here, please. Yes, sir. Hold your hand out. One hand. Make a fist. See, it's incorrect there. Now watch. You're going to be doing this with each other because I want you to feel it. All right. So hold your wrist straight because I'm going to go real hard on you. Hold it. Come on, hold it. All right, now put your thumb over here. Yeah, and hold it straight. Does that feel stronger?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, you know what? It's not magic.
Is it?
It's geometrical alignment of the hand. All right, get with somebody and just do that. Do it wrong, do it right. Do it wrong, do it right. See if you can make it work. Stick, have the energy go straight in.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you hold your wrist,
Quiet.
if you hold your wrist straight, like that, okay, you can hit something with your hand open. The problem is, if it's not exactly right, you're going to hurt part of your hand or your wrist or something.
Like your wrist.
So if this is a line, there's many different ways to make the fist. This young man was telling me about, this is the Okinawan way. See the fingers down, the thumb comes across the first finger. They're all good. Another thing there's so much detail. When you hit a heavy bag, something real heavy, if you're barehanded even, or something, I'll even do it with a glove, I don't rotate all the way over. Does anybody know why? I'll hit it on a 45 like this. The reason for that is because you got all in the radial bones in the forearm. And you got a real high impact on something, it's a little bit easier on your arm. Here you've rotated those bones like that. It has to lose, well, they could, or it has a little less strength. So so they punch on that 45-degree line. A lot of times when you hit a bag, when you hit a person, especially with a bare hand, they're nowhere near as much resistance as a bag. If you're banging that bag real hard, you're going, man, yeah, you do have some power. You know, hitting a person is pretty straightforward. There's nothing much to it. Right? It just depends on how much muscle they have on their body. But if hitting somebody in the head with two knuckles, not a big thing. If it's timed right. We're trying to learn today, so if something pops in my mind, I'll teach it. There's 3 ways you can change the effect of your energy, of your power, of your strikes. So let's say you have any strike. We'll just use a punch again just because it's easy. So I have a punch, and I can generate 10x of energy with that. That 10x of energy out on the end of this punch. All right? So that's a constant. How can I change the effect of that 10x of energy?
Timing.
What are you timing?
Impact to your target.
What impact? You're on the right track.
The mass going in.
There you go. All right, that's the last one. That's the most important one. You see boxers, and they're out there, and they get hit like this, and they just roll off with it and come right back. What they did, that principle is called energy is absorbed over distance. You've been at the picnic, guy throws the egg to you, and you catch it, you cradle it, you absorb the energy, and the egg doesn't break. If you hold it like this and pushed into it, it explodes. It's the same, so your knockouts you'll see are always when the guy's firing and stepping on his shot, he gets hit, goes right down. So that's the third way, which to me is the most important. So I've hit guys before, and I went, that guy's still standing there, what's going on? And then other times you hit him and went, what happened there? You know, so it depends where their mass is moving. It's the biggest thing. So in different systems of martial arts, I teach a bunch of them, but one of them is Kenpo. Every time we're trying to make the guy move into the next strike. You know, kick them down low, like that, see the head? Bam! You hit them up top. So now you got to move into the strike, and it's got more effect. The other two ways you want to keep going here fast is where you hit. So if I punch in the shoulder, it has nowhere. If I take that same energy and put it in his throat, it's going to have a lot more effect, isn't it? And the third one is the weapon you use. If I hit him in the throat with a punch, it'll have some good effect. But if I use a half fist called a leopard punch and hit him in the throat with 10x of energy, goodbye. Follow me? So that's what it's, I guess science you would call it. That's the part of martial arts, or the art part that we studied to learn about. So in any event, we'll keep going now. So when you throw your punches from up here, make sure you roll it up top. You can visualize you're in water up to here, and just punch over the top of it, and do that little torque at the end. I'll try that a couple times. Go ahead. Does that make any sense at all there? All right, so that's good. All right, the next thing, yes.
I was gonna say, this is like one G did a few years ago where we had the sticks, punching up over the stick.
Oh, what? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just you can do a lot of things. Right. So it's visualization. So you gotta have I've always had, for some reason, had like a geometric mind. I can see. So if you saw somebody in front of you, first let's start this way first. If you looked at me and you saw a line down my body, call that a center line. So you look at that line and wow, that splits the body in half. And then what you do is you walk over here and go, whoa, that's not a line, it's a plane. It's two-dimensional. It's got height, but it's got depth. So that plane is determined by our axis lines. An axis line is a line that starts in the middle of your head and comes up between your legs. If you pick me up, you could spin me on it. That's called an axis line. If I lean, the axis line is still straight. You follow me? So if I'm fighting three people, 1, 2, 3, I got 3 of these planes I'm dealing with. I got 3 planes of attack, don't I? I don't have one. So now I've got to visualize these three angles. All right? Most of your strikes come off, either go down the plane, or they come off and come back to the plane. When I'll hit something, if I want to hit it pretty hard, I always hit into the axis. So if I'm going to hit him here, I'm trying not to come across that way. I'm trying to hit into his axis, because there's his mass. Going to have more resistance. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah. So in any event, that's that. So what we're going to do next is, let's just work on the footwork a little bit more. But if you want to develop, one last thing on the alignments, because remember we're talking about the pieces, how we form our pieces. If you're going to do boxing, you have basically 3 punches. You have what's called an uppercut. Now the punches follow a semicircle. So if I'm doing an uppercut, the uppercut goes this way. Help me again, Kenny. You can put your hands down because I don't want you to hit me. So my uppercut, I just turn it into the center and I lift it. Following? The knuckles are out to the outside. If I'm going to throw a hook, the knuckles are on the side. Now some guys hook like this. A lot of guys on the West Coast hook like this. And if you're going to throw a straight punch, the knuckles are on top. And that's just general. There's always adaptations. One of my favorite punches, stand there for a second, is what I call a 45-degree punch. That's where it comes up in here. Following? Well, you look at when I say 45, look at it. It's not here and it's not here. It's a 45-degree angle, isn't it? Now, so if you come over the top here and come back in here, you accomplish 2 things. One, you hit him here, body moves out a little bit, you can hit underneath there. It's a great combination. All right? So if you're going to practice your punches, thank you, sir. If you're going to practice your punches, a lot of times, watch when you do an uppercut, you turn your body till this forearm is on the center plane, and you just lift it. All right? Come up to the center and lift it. That's basically what you do in an uppercut. And remember, all these moves you learn them in the ideal state. Well, this is how I want to throw it. Sometimes you have to go make it land. You know, you can't, it won't land the way you practiced it. But even hooks. So let's talk about this real fast. Why are these knuckles fall on the outside of a circle? Does anybody have an idea on that? All right, we'll go back into it again. Would you help me this time? Thank you. Because sometimes you can just be nice, you're a great target because I like that red. You got to understand what a hook does. A hook travels around a circle, doesn't it? But if it goes around a circle, and here's my target, at some point it reaches the apex of the circle, where it's the farthest away from you that it can be, and then it starts to come down the circle again. So a lot of guys are throwing what they're calling hooks, but they're hitting coming up the circle. But if I hit coming down the circle with my hand like this, I'm going to break my fourth metatarsal in my hand. If I throw an uppercut like this, and I get a clean hit, nice. But if I don't get a clean hit, boom, I break the fourth metatarsal in my hand. So that's why when you throw that uppercut, you got to get a clean hit or a clean miss. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. A lot of little details, huh? Makes a lot of difference, especially if you're doing barehanded. All right? So those knuckles will fall around the outside of that circle. So if you thank you, sir, you did great, as good as they did. I know. So if you want to practice, I just practice uppercut, hook, straight. You follow me? I mean, I'll do that in the school on myself or when I'm working out. Hit uppercuts, hooks, over the top, sit. All right? Up, hook, hook. And if you notice, I'm throwing them real close to my body. Okay? Pop, 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 pop. So what you do is you learn to move in a tight nucleus. Like if I'm going to do a technique, you know, I might be going. I did a little tight little circle. And then as you practice that, then as you actually hit something, you kind of come out like a star burst or something out of that little tight nucleus to the target you want to hit. So maybe I want to hit it, instead of my knife hand being here, the guy's a little farther away, I have to bring it out. But I don't practice it out there, because you practice your moves real big, it's not the right way to practice it. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to get with a partner. And who didn't I use yet? Okay, I used you. Would you help me?
Sorry.
Thank you. We'll put our gloves, maybe we won't put our gloves on for this. Just hold your hands like this. Open them up. And don't move, whatever you do, because don't hit me. All right, now watch me. I'm just going to bounce. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now after I do that, now you bounce 1, 2, 3, 4. Start with your right hand, because your shoulders are already 45. So bounce, square them up, 45. Square them up, 45. Now it's my turn. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. And you bounce. We'll all bounce together. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Got to give me this for the hook.
Sorry.
Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, bounce, pass. Get them off the ground. Boom, 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 boom. All right, thank you. Did good. So pair up. You can do that drill. But what you're working on, watch me. You're working on bouncing on both the feet and then turning your punches. Right hand, left hook, right hand, left hook. Let's go.
Sir.
Partner up.